global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings Today. We have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: Finally, Buhari's minister Festus Keyamo agrees with Atiku Abubakar to the detriment of his boss, President Buhari. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos on YouTube. All right, let's look at the news. The former PDP presidential aspirant in the just concluded presidential election, Abubakar Atiku, in a statement released by his special advisor on media, Paul Ibe, on Tuesday, expressed his displeasure over the rejection of the bill by the House of Representatives about the single tenure of 6 years. Also, the Minister of State and Employment, Festus Keyamo, has agreed for the first time with Atiku Abubakar over his rejection or reaction to the rejection of the bill, seeking to provide for a single tenure of 6 years for president and governors. It was reported on Tuesday that the bill also seeks to provide an unlimited tenure of 6 years for members of the National Assembly and the State Houses of Assembly. Atiku, in a statement released by his special advisor on media, Paul Ibe, on Tuesday, registered his displeasure over the rejection of the bill. According to him, the rejection of the bill was a mistake because little attention was paid to its merit. He said, and I quote, "In view of the challenges facing our current democratic order, especially the culture of rigging that subverts the will of the people, 6-year single term would have ended such untoward practices in our electoral process. The desperation for second term by the incumbent is the main reason why they go broke and set the rule books on fire, thereby making free and fair election impossible by legitimizing rigging at the expense of their challengers that have no access to public funds. A situation where the incumbent deploy more public resources to their second-term project than using the funds for people's welfare encourages massive rigging that undermines electoral integrity." Reacting to the development, Festus Keyamo, in a tweet on his official Twitter page on Wednesday, wrote, and I quote, "At last, finally we can find a common ground for agreement between the actors of the two major parties. I agree with these, and I know most of my party members do too. So parliamentarians, please let's do it with a clear provision that the present president and governors will not benefit." I like to read that last sentence again. He said, "So parliamentarians, please let's do it with a clear provision that the present president and the governors will not benefit from it." And this is really an interesting one. You know, for the first time, these guys are for the first time they are agreeing on things relating to politics. But let's just read one reaction from one of the respondents. He said, "Whether 6 years or 8 years, we'll need a leader who is competent and people-oriented. If a governor or a president knows he would not be staying for another term, he may embezzle as much as he or she likes. People speak good when things affect them." All right, so this is really interesting, but the amazing side of it was the emphasis by the minister, Buhari's minister, I'm talking about Festus Keyamo, who is currently the Minister of State for Labor. He emphasized that the current president and governors will not benefit, and this, has triggered a lot of reactions by Nigerians, as people are just wondering that for the first time, Keyamo is speaking almost against his boss. The boss, he had said that he's no more interested in third term again. But the truth is, if this is brought into bay, he will be qualified for it. And don't forget that in 2015, Buhari did tell Nigerians that if you grant me just 1 year, that's one single term, I'll be through. All what I want to do is to get rid of corruption. I don't want it to be there again. And we gave him the chance, and he tacked it change. And the change that we saw was not what he promised Nigerians. And the next thing he told us, give me next level. I need to still finalize everything about this. And I believe that if it is a rule, that if it is passed into law, that each president should have a single term, that shows that the president himself will be qualified to go fire in again as a president, because he has never tested the 66 single term stuff. But here, Keyamo is saying for the first time, he's saying that the current president, which is Buhari, must not be a participator of that new law. If a new law, that's if the bill is passed into the bill of 6 year single term is passed into law. And my colleague is here. We want to talk about this, and also to look at the reasonability, the merit of the 6 year single term. Looking at what Keyamo has said, do you think that it will be better for Nigeria to adopt it? That's for the parliamentarian to sit back again and reconsider this bill and pass it into law? Or do you think that it's going to be the same thing?
I feel even if they will pass it into law, well, it's not a bad idea if you ask me. But I feel that if they will want to pass it into law, it shouldn't be now. Let this particular dispensation go. Let a fresh elections be conducted, and let us see how it goes. Because the truth is, if they put this into law, pass this bill into law, that means the likes of Atiku Abubakar can run. The likes of Olusegun Obasanjo can run. Don't forget that in the time of Obasanjo, he also wanted a window period like this, where he would do a third term. Yeah. And somehow the Senate then, which were not rubber stamped, they were really antagonistic then. Those were real senators then. They antagonized it, they frustrated the idea, it didn't hold water. Okay, but then the likes of Obasanjo will come into play. Erufai will come. Tinubu will come to be gladiators. Even Jonathan can dust his shoes, his retired shoes, and say, let's go into this, man. Let's test our popularity here. It will be a clash of titans. In fact, within the caucus of the caucus, within the parties, you begin to see elections that look like real elections, all in the name of getting a party, a candidate, because it's going to be a clash of gladiators here. But I feel that, let's not rush it in, because if you pass this into law, this is just the first year of the second tenure of the presidency, and he has promised that he was looking for just one term, from 1 term to 2 term. And if this is passed into law, we still have like 3 more years to go, which means he has 3 more years to put everything in order and say, look, let me just the last more term so that we'll conclude this thing. Let me just conclude it, and I don't know what will happen to Nigeria. That's how I feel that the issue should be put in check. Okay.
But you know that Keyamo says that the provision, there should be, clear provision that the current president will not, and the current governors will not be part of this whole thing, which means it's a new page for Nigerian elections, So how do you think that president hearing this, he will react to it? Do you think that he'll just wait because he's not interested in it? Or do you think that will be a knock on him to give him a better, to bring him into spotlight or stuff like that?
This particular dispensation have issues of integrity. Yeah. You may be surprised. This is more like a bait. Pass it into law. Just pass it.
There should be a provision.
Hold on. Pass it into law. It's not just recently that they're talking about amendment of constitution. Yeah. There's enough time to adjust that bill, to adjust that law. Between now, it's 3 years, between now and the time of elections. They can just say, why not? Are they not citizens? Why shouldn't they be allowed to pass it? Before there will be an adjustment. All it needs is a few Ghana must go back here and there. And or if you refuse to collect Ghana must go, twist your hand here and there. 1 or 2 agencies will come for you. And before you know it, your mouth will be shut so that things will move freely. I would say for the now. Maybe they can revisit it afterwards, but just to be on the safe side, because we've got issues of integrity in this dispensation, so that we don't pass this into law, and within the constitution there will be a clause, there will be a window that which they can use to break and come in. Don't forget, that's the same constitution that says the president, as he's leaving the office, should give 21 days notice, so that he can hand over to the vice president if he's not going to be in the country. But there's still a window where it says if you can stay for 14 days, for 6 days,
less than 21 days,
you can actually not hand over. Now that's a clause.
Yeah.
Now
So
what
you
if
capitalize
on the loopholes and
in the
still,
law.
and at the end of the day, the president and the governors can still vote in. So to be on the safe side, we don't want. Let's still manage this for. Let's know where we are first. Let's know what is biting us for the now. We have gotten used to it until we see a real transparent government where they do true, free and fair. Just imagine electing someone, or not electing, an election that is being rigged forced upon you for 6 years, not for 6 years. You begin to grumble. Imagine if you are pregnant. Then by the time the person will leave, your child is 6 years old. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Do you understand? True. So we need to look at this before we go into it.
All right. Thank you very much. There are a lot of things that I feel it's worth discussing about this 6 years single term. The benefits of it. It's one strike and you are out, And according to most political analysts, most of them are of the opinion that if one is given a single term to run for 6 years, that they will spend all their strength to do the right thing because they may not have a second chance, to do it. Looking at some of the merits of this thing, what do you think? Because I'm trying to think around it. Do you think that this will augur well for the government of Nigeria, that if we adopt this?
If we have a transparent government, it's the best.
Okay.
Because you just have one strike, prove yourself. If you don't get it right, as you step aside, we'll probe you. Okay. For every illegitimacy, every wrongdoing, all the promises. In fact, on the third year, we'll begin to analyze, we'll begin to draw down your plans and begin to, weigh you on a scale. What have you done? What have you done? At your 5th year, you're rounding up. You need to begin to, dot your I's and cross your T's, so that Nigerians will appraise you. Then, if whichever one you did not do, as you're coming out, the likes of the DSS and the security agency will start there and begin to probe all the things. That's on a saner note. But we are not there yet. We're talking about democracy that is functional. We are not there yet. But if we were there, honestly, it's the best. So that no issue of 4+4. We don't want to, because some people will just save the money for the next election, so that they see how they can do so much looting, so that the next election they will have enough money to do both vote buying. But in this case, just know that it is one tenor. You're not coming back again. If you like, all you need to do is let me look for somebody who may take over or something, but you yourself will never sit on that seat again. But that's for a cleaner note. But we are not there yet democratically.
All right. Thank you very much for that clean analysis. There are some fears for me. There are some fears about this 6 year stuff. One of my fears is, number one, if you allow these guys to run, for 6 years, they still reserve that right of re-amending the constitution again. So I can run by the time I move, as long as 5 years or maybe as long as 4 years, all what I need to do is to speak to the National Assembly, rub some things on them and say, hey, you guys, we need to re-adopt what we had abandoned, or let it be that each government will have 6 years, that's a dual term of 12 years to fix everything. So there is a lot of fears. That's why Nigerians must be very, very careful. That I know that these guys standing their ground, that opportunity shouldn't be given to the president and also to the governors. They have considered all of that, They've looked at it, because imagine if it happened that the president after a while said 4 years, by 4 years time, hey guys, you need to move this thing. I need a second term of another 6 years to run. It's going to turn the country to a big mess. So all the same, but what I just want to say, for the first time that Keyamo has impressed Nigerians to clearly, states there that there must be a provision that the current president and the current governors will not partake in such election. That alone has, to some extent, show that he is still a lawyer and he believes more on himself, that he cannot be remoted to say words anyhow. All the same, would like to leave it there. Go to our comment section. Let us interact. What do you think about the statement or the agreement between Atiku and Kiamo, which I believe is to the detriment of the president? What do you think about the statement he has just made? Let's comment. Don't also forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notifications.